Hello everyone and welcome back to episode 4 of the Motoamerica revamped league. Now today we are off to the first proper GP style track. So coming into this round, as we see our qualifying lap in the background, I really felt like this could be a weekend where I could probably get my best result, because usually with Texas, for some reason, I don't particularly love the track. It's not a track that I would say is very much my style of track, but I always just go well on this track, whether it be milestone games, GP bikes. For whatever reason, it's just one of those tracks, it just clicks with me. And to be fair, it has a bit of everything. I do enjoy it. So, and again, when you know rocking up the track that you usually go well at, you always have that extra kind of enjoyment at the back of your head, thinking, well, I can get a result here. So coming into this round, I was thinking maybe we could snag our second podium and hopefully our best result of the season. And yeah, looking forward to really racing this track, because it's just one of those tracks where you don't get a moment's rest really, bar the long straight that we're going on to now. It's just so action-packed, left, right, up, down. There's a bit of everything. You can see on screen as well, we have our new control overlay. I designed it there between, I think the day of the race I actually made it. So yeah, I think it's pretty cool, just kind of a green and little customized design. It has the logo and stuff, so yeah, a bit more personalized for the channel. So yeah, let me know if you like that. I think it's pretty cool in the end. But unfortunately, some of the bigger faster boys that have been racing throughout the season so far are actually missing from this race. So even though coming into it I was feeling quite quick and strong and competitive, some of my main talent, or my main rivals, aren't actually in the race. So it could end up being one of those races where unfortunately we probably won't have anything to do with Martinson as usual. He's just in his own league, and we'll probably have the rest of the field comfortably covered. So you can see currently we're 3.5 seconds off Martinson, who's in the 205s, which is just an outrageous lap time. I don't know how he's doing them. The fastest we'd gone all kind of through the practice was like a low 209. So currently he's like way over 3 seconds for him ever. But coming into the final corner here, this has been a real tidy lap. You can see how much the front was chattering through the final corner there. Up to the line we come in a second. The line's actually in the wrong spot. It's all the way up here where it should be back there, and it is just into the 208 to 208.8, so we go 2.9 off of pole. And yeah, now we did have some issues where the track got reset and the lobby got restarted. So yeah, that's why I'm on pole, because we didn't do another qualifying. Now Martinson is P3, so I moved up one, he moved down, but again, he's so quick it doesn't really matter. And it's a 15 lap race, so it's going to be a long one. But the gap at the moment usually for me is kind of the same, as you get a usually decent start on this bike. And again, we do hold the lead. I can hear an R6 to my left, no surprise since there's 4 or 5 of them on the grid. And into turn 1, again I kind of just leave the door open. Martinson kind of has the speed just to kind of run away. So again, not really even, to me it's like a multi-class race. He's just in a different league. And this opening lap here, we try and stick with him to see what he's doing that we're doing differently. It just seems that he just has so much more confidence in first person on the bike now. He is as I mentioned every episode, he is predominantly in first person, whereas I'm not. So I'm still getting up to speed where everything just feels natural for him. So everything he knows is this camera and stuff like this. So obviously he's going to be more comfortable, but it's just he gets down to speed. He just has so much more understanding what the bike is doing. So even though I feel like I'm getting up to a decent speed now in first person, I'm getting relatively competitive compared to the people in the league, I just feel I'm still nowhere near some of the top guys in first person. And even when I'm in third person, I still can't even match some of them. So it just shows how fast you can be in this view. Now you can see already we've lost 0.8 in the opening half a lap. But like I was saying at the start, the gap between me and Martinson is kind of the gap from me to the rest of the field and behind. So he is kind of 2.5 seconds over everyone, and I kind of have that over the rest of the field as well. So unfortunately it was looking, and it did turn out to be one of those races where we fall into a bit of a pigeonhole where there just wasn't anything happening. You can see 11 minutes for league race video is usually pretty short, and I was unfortunate because again I felt really good here. I felt really strong on the brakes, and I knew Martinson was just out of my league. Like there's no way, like he could like be 3 seconds a lap slower and still match me on my limit, which is just, imagine if you were going around a racetrack and like, alright, go 3 seconds slower now. You'd be like, well, like I don't even have to use 6th gear, or like I don't even have to brake for the heavy hairpin. It just, there's so much time he has to give away. So even if he crashes 3, 4, 5 times, that time is coming back. Like, so main goal for me was just get into second, get into a rhythm, and just start knocking laps off. And that's kind of what we end up doing. We get up into P2 off the line. We lose the position at the start to Martinson, and yeah, not really kind of worried by him. He's already got this championship sewn up realistically. We skip to the end of lap 2. We have 5.1 to Martinson. We have nearly 12 seconds back. So again, my gap to the guys behind was slightly more than the gap Martinson was pulling over me. So in my eyes, I was doing a decent enough job. And again, I'm kind of knocking out. I think this lap's going to be like a low 2:10, I believe. So again, it's not really much I can do. It's just kind of settle into a vibe now. But fortunately, coming up here to turn 1, I know exactly what happens. I can see it on the input. I just didn't blip the rear enough, and you get one of those GP bike crashes where it just has to ping, 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 ping. And to be fair, right, the only thing that would have stopped me from getting second in this race was my own mistakes, and that is lap 2 done, and we already made our first one. So into turn 1, big mistake. And unfortunately, that kind of just given Martinson an extra 10 seconds up the road. And we put Tishemi on the back of us, and he's not slow. Now again, I probably have a good bit of time over him, but he's not slow that I'd be confident that he wouldn't be able to latch onto me and kind of be dragged along. So again, there, change direction in front, having at the moment. So straight away now we feel a bit under pressure once again. So kind of a bit annoyed at this point, because I've yet to do league race in this championship without crashing in first person, which is kind of the goal at this point. And the fact I knew coming to this race that I really wouldn't get much trouble from behind if I got a clean start and got away into the clear air. And then at the end of start of lap 3, I made a silly mistake. Just I knew myself that I wasn't blipping enough, and it was just the rear started to move, and then it just offset the front. And in GP bikes, the more it goes, the harder it is to get back. I suppose it's true to real life too. But we are pushing on now. We're probably going to realistically pull away, but it's still, after making a mistake, it could be easily done again. You can see a second ago the change of direction, the bike didn't feel amazing. So once you crash, your tyres just take a lap and a half, 2 laps to really kind of get back to optimal temperatures and pressure. So you can see, just look how much the front is chattering through here. So it's a kind of a testament to the setup that I was able to confidently throw the bike into these corners. I'm just watching the front now. You don't see this when you're riding, because you're looking so far up the road. You're looking to your braking marker, to your apex, and to where you're exiting. But so much around this track as a front end just skipping. And to be honest, if I noticed this more when I was riding, I'd actually probably be slower. But we are slowly pulling the gap back out. It was probably about 2/10 after I crashed coming out of turn 1, just because he was apexing it as I was taking off. You can see there, just a quick look behind, and I've pulled a decent gap again. So straight away it looks like we're back down, and we're about to kind of push on and see if we can just build a gap out, because we nearly 6 seconds when he crashed. Now the gap was 1 second. We fast forward 2 laps, it's gone up to 3.8. So already I've kind of built back up my buffer, and yeah, now we jump to lap 7, and we're about to have another crash, unfortunately. This one, another weird one. Now this one I've watched back a few times, and if you watch my controller overlay, I get very aggressively on the front brake. It's actually pretty the same as what I do most laps. So again, you see hard, it's just a small kicker of some sort, whatever way I touched the curb maybe, or just whatever part of the track was on the rear got a little light, and I had so much brake pressure on, it just threw me over. It was completely surprised. I haven't done that in so long on this game. And that was pretty much it. We had another spill later in the race, just from, again, lack of concentration. And at one point towards the end, I was thinking, right, let me try and lap the guy who was in last, just to give myself a goal, because I had so many laps. I was, again, a lot quicker than the people behind me. Martinson was might as well have been in Canada. So the race was just so spread out. I just tried to start pushing, and you can see by this point the race now would have been so long. It's gone over a 30-minute race. I've run out of tear-offs, and it actually looks a lot dirtier on my preview screen here than I remembered when I was actually racing. See on this last lap here, even though we're just trying to push for lap times, and kind of the last third of a race maybe, I was just kind of just putting in qualifying laps, just trying to find time on this track. And again, it sounds silly, but I was just so relaxed and calm, because I knew that even if I made a mistake, I had the speed to kind of build back up my gap, and there was nothing I could do to Martin's in front. That was just done. So P2 was mine today, and we are going to come home comfortably in P2, even though we made, again, silly mistakes. Overall, we could have really tidied up our race pace and maybe put Martinson under a small bit of pressure, just being in a window of if he crashed. That I would have been there, but just realistically, like you see the gap I had to him, I had over the rest of the field. You saw I crashed loads, and still with my pace I was able to pull myself back into a nice position in the race. So again, it was one of those races where I've just ticked off the laps, tried to be as clean as possible, but again, a little bit of disparity came in at some points when I just kind of got a little bit I wouldn't say bored. Again, we lost the rear there. I was pushing so hard. I was just watching the back there. You can just feel the front going, and the rear came around on the rear brake. So even up to the last half a lap, I'm still pushing on to see can I get a fast lap. And I think in the race, I wasn't a million miles off my qualifying time, which is always something I like doing, kind of getting close to my qualifying time. But that was the race. Like I've done league races where I've led turn 1 to the final corner and not been passed and not made a single overtake, and just kind of not made any overtakes or anything. But I felt this race was more boring than any of them because I wasn't in the lead and there was pretty much nothing up for grabs. And across the line, P2, best result of the season, but I just feel a little bit tarnished the fact that we didn't have some of the faster men that have been challenging me throughout the season. So we take P2, but it was one of those races where it could have been 5 laps really, because it really just didn't need the 15. Now again, of course I understand it is a championship, so you race the race that you have at hand, but it was I suppose a brilliant P2 in the end, lovely in the points for me, and it puts us up, as you can see, in the championship up to P2. We are 13 points behind Martinson, so even if he misses the next round, I'd still need to score pretty much 5th or 4th to get into the championship lead. And again, the fact that he's missed the first race and then won, he's just pretty dominant. So you can see the results on screen now, and yeah, that was pretty much it. Not much else happened, and it was one of those races where I just started taking off the laps. Nothing else happened. I've kind of stretched the video just to include as much content as I could, just to kind of get a video out of it, because at one point I thought there wouldn't be enough kind of content in it to make a video. But if you're making videos on kind of a set series like this, you have to include each round. So I'm going to leave there. I hope you have enjoyed. Hopefully we'll have some more battling and a bit more action in the next race, which I believe is coming from Pittsburgh, which is a really, really fun track to ride. So I'm hoping that'll be a bit better. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. See you in the next one. Slán go fóill.